Hello, I'm Mark Dietrich, a Senior Advisor with the EGI Foundation, a partner in the European Commission-funded Horizon Cloud project. H-Cloud was established to consider the future of cloud computing in Europe. The H-Cloud project examines obstacles to cloud adoption in Europe and proposes strategic actions to increase adoption, accelerate digital transformation, and enable the hoped-for socioeconomic and environmental benefits. Our conclusions are captured in our strategic analysis and a companion strategic research, innovation, and deployment agenda. We welcome your feedback on both documents, one-on-one or through online consultations that will happen in February 2022. You can also link from each one of these videos to an online survey where you can pick the most important recommendations. We have organized our findings and our recommendations into 7 sections, illustrated in this diagram, each with a video overview like this one. Let's look at the second pillar of our model, becoming data-driven. Organizations become more data-driven first by adopting cloud-style information technology methodologies, and then deploying those technologies onto suitable cloud infrastructure. For many organizations, adopting cloud-based capabilities is the quickest route to becoming data-driven, since they immediately align operations with appropriate best practices. A key step is adopting cloud-style technologies and technology stack, but there are challenges here. The cloud technology landscape is rapidly evolving. Open source is important, but EU organizations are not as involved as they could be. Proprietary solutions are also very important, but respect for EU values may not be clear and technical lock-in is possible. Systems integrators may prefer non-EU-based approaches. The need for a sovereign technology stack from software all the way to underlying hardware. Lack of skills is identified as one of the 4 leading causes of cloud implementation failure. But building the skills needed for adoption poses several challenges. New skills and practices are needed by IT professionals. There are also new skills and practices needed by management. Open source is free, but you still need to allocate resources for it, not only for its adoption and use, but also for contributing to the effort and staying current. The scale of human resources needed represents a challenge for SMEs and for small public organizations, think healthcare and small municipalities. And lastly, the limited pool of people in the EU who have the current skills. Performance is another leading cause of cloud implementation failure. This has 2 main components: optimizing software design for the cloud and optimizing the deployment and management of those solutions onto the cloud. The so-called lift and shift approach may tick your organization's cloud-first strategy, but it won't be performant. Cloud-based software usually needs to be refactored and re-engineered to meet performance objectives, and new deployment and monitoring tools are not only available, but they are required to make sure those goals are met. Security and trust are the last 2 of the 4 leading causes of cloud implementation failure. Today, security and privacy can't be bolted on. In most cases, you can't assume that your firewall will protect you. You will already be operating outside of your firewall. And cloud-based software designs are, by definition, much more exposed, with a much bigger threat surface than internal software applications. This is a very complicated topic, and cybersecurity is actually outside the scope of the Horizon Cloud project. One key trend, though, in the market is the idea that safe solutions can be labeled or verified in some way. But while the shared responsibility model shifts some obligations onto cloud providers, the ultimate responsibility for security and privacy sits with the cloud using organization itself. In addition to all of these more technical issues, moving to the cloud also requires organizations to rethink their approach to build versus buy, procurement, and financial management. Legacy and monolithic applications are being replaced by new combinations of cloud-based services, each of which may be acquired or accessed in a different way. Capital expenditures for both software and hardware is being replaced by operating expenditures. Management and procurement processes, especially those used by public administrations, are not aligned with cloud-based business models. We've touched on the importance of legacy applications for so many organizations. Specific resources to help them refactor, re-engineer, and reassess those legacy applications that they rely on today could make the transition to the cloud much easier for many organizations. To help EU organizations become more data-driven, the H-Cloud project has developed a range of recommendations for the research community, for policymakers, and for the organizations themselves and the cloud sector. You can add your voice to this discussion by voting for those recommendations in this area that are the most significant for you and your organization. Hopefully this overview and summary will give you a new perspective on the challenges facing cloud computing in Europe and the critical role it can play in Europe's digital future. We encourage you to take a more detailed look at our draft report, and we look forward to your feedback and comments.